Alrighty, thank you so much for coming back. So this section we're going to be talking about the UC tag application. And the UC tag application can be found at the very end of the Transfer Admission Planner website. So for this one, you'll be going to the My Transfer Plan. We've already done the About Me. We've already done the My Academic History. So now we're back on the Transfer Plan. With this one, they're trying to figure out which term are you wanting to apply to transfer to the UC. And so for the tag as well as for the general application for this semester, it'll be for next fall, so fall 2021. With this one, it's just wondering which other campuses are you interested in transferring to. A couple things to note with the UC tag is that there's only 6 of the 9 UCs that accept tag. The ones that do not accept tag are Berkeley, Los Angeles, and also San Diego. However, if you are interested in applying for these campuses, definitely go ahead and select that option and then choose the major that you're wanting to sign up for that specific school. Okay. Just know that with Berkeley, Los Angeles, and for San Diego, even though they're not eligible for tag, they are eligible for the general UC application submission. Another thing to note is that even if you do the tag for one of the other 6 UCs, you still need to do a UC application for general admission. So not only will you be doing this application for this September month, but you'll also do the application in the November month for the general UC application. Make sure that if you are, for instance, tagging UC Irvine with the major of chemical engineering, that when you do the general UC application and you choose Irvine, you do choose the same major, the chemical engineering. If the major does not match the major that you selected for the UC tag, then your UC tag application will be null and void. So you want to make sure that whichever campus you are tagging with that specific major, that you submit the general UC application with that same campus and with that same exact major. So for here, they're just trying to see which UCs are you applying to and what majors you're choosing for each of these. And then at the very bottom is just listing out the transfer programs that you're interested in order to prepare for transfer admission. So for this one, you can do the UC transfer pathways, which if you click on the Learn More, it'll pop up into a new window and explain what these are. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and just choose business administration. And this lets you know what they're expecting you to have completed prior to transferring to the UCs. So completing your economics courses, your math, your calculus classes, stats, which is like Math 110, introduction to business, financial accounting, managerial accounting. So making sure that you've completed these at the community colleges prior to transfer. The other one, the Pathways Plus, if you click on that, gives you a little bit more information as to what the Pathways Plus is, letting you see what your transfer pathways, figuring out with tag, what the minimum UC requirements are, and then the steps for that transfer plus. And then lastly, since we are doing the tag application, you do want to make sure that you check out this box right here. Go ahead and select save, and just as the other sections, it'll let you know if that information has been saved. And now we're going to start going into the actual tag. With this one, it lets you know, for instance, what I just said, the 6 UC campuses, but it also has the tag matrix. And what the tag matrix is that it lists down each of the 6 UCs and lets you know what they're looking for with that submission. So not only which majors are open, but also letting you know how many UC transferable units you need to have completed by the time that you submit your UC tag, which is going to be 30, and that by the time that you fulfill the tag requirement, which means that by the end of spring, that you'll have that 60 semester units. And it also lets you know the GPA that they're looking for, not only that specific campus, but also for the college of your major. So if you are going to be going into biochem, say for instance at Davis, you're going to be at that College of Biological Sciences. So you're looking at that 3.2. For Riverside, if you're deciding, you know what, I want to go into business or even into engineering, you're going to see School of Business is a 2.8. And then for the College of Engineering, which is the Bournes College of Engineering, is a 3.0. It'll also let you know if they want you to have a GETC completed. A GETC is the general education sheet that if you have met with a counselor, you've gone through all those requirements, you have been on track to complete them. If you don't know what a GETC is, or if you want to confirm if you are completing a GETC, I highly recommend reaching out to the counseling department or to the University Transfer Center and setting up an appointment with a counselor so that way they can review what classes you have completed to make sure that you are completing a GETC or if you will not be completing it, and if you've completed or will be completing all the major prep courses required to transferring. So for the most part, they aren't going to be requesting at GETC. However, it is important to note that if you're going for business at Riverside, they do highly recommend that you have a GETC completed. But it is not a requirement, but it is highly, highly recommended just because business is very impacted. It's a selected major at Riverside. And then they start to go into a little bit more of the specific requirements. So looking at your English courses, making sure that some of them require it by the end of fall. Irvine, for instance, requires one of them to be completed by the end of spring and the second completed by the end of spring 2021. By the end of summer for that first one and then by the end of spring for the second one. The other UCs do go into more detail about this, as well as by your college level math. So you do want to make sure whichever campus that you are tagging, that you look at all the requirements listed here. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back. This is just a message that the Transfer Center over at Crafton Hills ends up sending out to all of you, just letting you know that there's ways that you can make appointments to check out our step-by-step transfer fall process, and just to reach out to us if there's any questions or any issues, or if you want to go ahead and attend any of our workshops where we go through each of these sections. For this one, you're going to be selecting the tag term. So you're going to choose whichever college you consider your current college. Most of you should be saying Crafton. You'll be indicating when you're going to be transferring, which will be next fall, so it's fall 2021. And then you'll select the campus that you are going to be applying for tag with. So this one I'm going to put Irvine. I'm going to select my major for chemical engineering. That is what I want to tag, Irvine Chemical Engineering. And then it's going to give you a list of the requirements necessary for the UC tag at Irvine. So you'll want to make sure to go through each of these sections, making sure that you have fulfilled or will fulfill these requirements. And if you're not sure, or if you aren't going to be completing this, maybe check out another UC campus that you're interested in going to and check to see if you fulfill those requirements. And if at any time these do not make any sense to you, definitely reach out to the Transfer Center and we'll be able to help you with that. So for this, I'm just going to go ahead and save my campus choice. And then I'm going to go ahead and start the tag submission. And the tag submission, as I said before, is very quick. As you can see, it's 1 through 4 steps. This one I'm just confirming that, okay, for my tag, I'm doing fall 2021. I'm going to Irvine. My major is chemical engineering. That these are the ones that I'm wanting to prep for. If there's any additional comments for this one, you can definitely put down, if you were doing that whole academic renewal process, if it's not on your transcripts yet, you can definitely put that in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say submitted a academic renewal application to Crafton Hills admissions office for spring 2020, I'll say. I am still waiting for it to be processed and approved. So that way they just know, okay, you've submitted that application, we'll take it into consideration, and then hopefully see that on the transcripts at a later date. So go to next step. And the checklist that I showed you at the very beginning, it is here as well. With these, they're not going to be automatically checked. They want you to go through each section of this and check the box, making sure that you are fulfilling all of this, that you are reading through it all, and it's all good to go. So then you'll go to the next step. And this is step 3 of 4. As I said, this is a very quick process. You'll go ahead and just confirm that all the information here is correct, and then you would submit your tag now. So I'm not going to submit my tag on this end just because in that way I won't have access to my application when I do these workshops. But once you hit that submit tag now, once you go back to the home page, it'll show over here that you've selected the fall 2021 term, your Irvine, and that you have submitted your UC tag application. Last that I do recommend is that anytime if you're unsure about completing this application, sign up for one of our UC tag applications. You can go ahead and go onto Crafton Hills website. If you go to Student Services, you'll select University Transfer Center. And then over to the right, you'll see Make an Appointment for a Workshop. You can go ahead and click on that. You'll put in your student ID number. And then the birth date will be month, day, and then year, the full year. As you can see, there's no appointments made yet, but you can make an appointment. You don't have to go ahead and select all these options. It's automatically set up for the transfer workshops. So when you hit search, it'll give you the list of all the applications here. So we have the UC Personal Insight workshops where we'll be helping you with the various personal insight questions at the very end of the UC application. There is the UC Transfer Admission Guarantee workshop, which is what we've just gone through, the UC tag, and also the UC application workshop. So you can just go ahead and select on that, make sure everything is all good, and hit continue, and then you'll be signed up for the workshop. And you'll receive an email from the Transfer Center giving you the Zoom link as well as more information about the workshop. We hope to see you soon. And as I said, if you have any other questions, please don't feel free to reach out to the University Transfer Center at Crafton Hills College. Thank you and good luck.